What up? My name is Ryan Babel, and you're watching JLB Sports TV.
Hey everybody, welcome to JLB Sports TV. I am Justin Block. This is my good friend Greg Zone joining me for some post-match analysis today. Liverpool lost 2-1 at Stamford Bridge in what was Jose Mourinho's, 9 billionth consecutive win or consecutive non-defeat at home. I did expect Liverpool to come in and try to get 3 points, or at least a point against Chelsea, given how well they played against City, and given the fact that the lineup was mostly unchanged other than Agger coming in for Sissoko at left back. What do you think of that move?
I think that the big thing with it is that you don't see Kelly on the bench.
Yeah.
Which means that he's not fit. We know that Flanagan's not fit.
Apparently people were saying that Martin Kelly actually was fit, but perhaps Rodgers just doesn't trust him Chelsea away.
Yeah, well, when you're playing for 30 minutes against Cardiff at home, there's a big issue with that where if you don't play him there, would you rather play Brad Smith or Rossiter in that spot?
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't matter if they're not if you don't trust him. You'd rather have him if he has that experience.
Right. I think to me it speaks less to maybe Kelly's ability or Kelly's trust, but the fact that Daniel Agger is a seasoned Premiership defender. He's played left back before for Liverpool. Maybe not spectacularly, but he's played there before. And he's honestly probably the best option over whatever else Liverpool can offer right now.
Sissoko hadn't been in the lineup for a month, and he hadn't played well against City, but it's frickin' City.
You're right.
I mean, you're playing against Chelsea. You have to. It's a choice between playing a guy who is a left back but hasn't played for a month, and playing a guy who isn't a left back and hasn't played for a month.
Right, but I just think Sissoko's been that bad, where I would rather play the experience in Agger and somebody who will provide stability at that left back position, even if he's not going to go forward. And to me, Alex Sissoko going forward was shit anyway. So what does it even matter?
I don't think you could win that one if you were Rodgers. But if you go forward, you see that then we go into the game. We play well. We get that opening goal.
Yeah, and let's talk about the first goal a little bit. It was a nice set piece goal. I think Luis Suarez had the initial flick on, and Martin Skrtel finished the chance with his left boot. And he actually, didn't commit a foul on the play, which is surprising because anytime you see Martin Skrtel on your screen, when the ball is near him, he's usually committing a foul at this point. Yeah, he didn't actually have to grab anybody to score this goal.
He only grabbed the wrist here.
Yeah, and it wasn't even an own goal either. So we're very happy for Martin Skrtel. To me, people have been really singling him out lately, and rightly so. He's had some horrible defensive miscues. He had one today on the Eto'o goal, really. Where Eto'o just slipped in front of him. Skrtel was in bad position. But for me, we know at this point Martin Skrtel is bad, and yet the team isn't working to sort of mask those deficiencies. He's not getting help from the other guys. And today especially, where Chelsea just bossed Liverpool so much today in midfield, you would expect with Allen, Henderson, and Lucas in at the front three, or not the front three, in a midfield where Liverpool would be able to gain some traction there. Gerrard not being out, you had mobility, and Liverpool just got pressed off the pitch today.
Unfortunately, when you have a team like this, you are the young side who clearly is on it, who clearly has a bit of problems playing against the big sides away from home.
Yep.
When you were playing at a City or at a Chelsea, which is extremely good at home and is just extremely talented,
both sides are great at home. Yeah.
You have a bit of a problem when it comes to that because you need to have somebody who's leading from the middle of the park.
Yep.
And Agger at the back as a captain, okay, fine. He's done well.
Right.
But you need somebody in the midfield to kind of tell a young Henderson, a middle-aged Allen, a 24-year-old Lucas, you know what, you got to calm it down. You got to calm it down.
And this wasn't even Chelsea's best midfield. Ramirez was suspended for this game, so we saw David Luiz come in midfield, and he was excellent. Really bossy and swashbuckling play for him. I think he led Chelsea in passes in the first half. Really great play from David Luiz, and Liverpool just got pressed off the ball. If you see from this graphic right here, all of Chelsea's ball recoveries and their tackles pressing way up the pitch, down into Liverpool's half. And Liverpool, they were only recovering the ball in their own final third. And we saw that today, I think in the first half at one point, I believe it was the 37th minute, I checked the possession, Chelsea were up 60-40. 60-40, that is insane. I think in the second half, Liverpool got more possession. Those percentages came down, but still the final third passing stats were so key for me today. Chelsea completed 85 of 145 passes in the final third. Liverpool only 49 of 80. That's abysmal. It really just shows that Chelsea were pressing up the pitch and Liverpool knew nothing of the ball.
The problem is this. After the first goal, Mourinho had to abandon his tactics really quick and basically said, okay, go up, push up.
Yep.
You got to win the ball further up. I want to be able to get into the half with at least a tie game.
Liverpool weren't able to break the press, which is surprising given the great movement of our front three. You think, well, it only takes one clever ball from one of our midfielders, but to me, the movement wasn't there from the front three today. The combinations weren't there. The Chelsea back four did really, really well, just a bottle of Luis Suarez.
Yeah, and the problem with that is when you have an effective midfield, an effective defensive midfield, and you have experienced heads, it's going to win over. And if you look at the first goal that we give up, you have
that was the Hazard goal, right?
That was the Hazard goal. Where you give up the ball around the midfield line. You have all these players backing off. Nobody really making a challenge, but everybody standing off them. It's basically a show that we're afraid to make a challenge here. We're afraid to press. We're afraid to make that move, which is a bit of a problem when you're playing a team like Chelsea that can move the ball forward, that does have these talented players, that does play at the back.
Yeah.
And they were able to score off of it. And you have it's a great goal by Hazard.
Oh, great. Fantastic finish.
It's fantastic. It's a fantastic finish. But the problem is caused because Sacco is unable to commit because all the midfielders are bundled together, which we saw again. And this time they're all behind the ball, which makes it even worse.
Yeah. I feel like the midfield just got overrun today. And I don't think Liverpool did enough on the wings as well. I do think Coutinho, Suarez, and Sturridge, they should have work for more one-on-one battles down the wing. We saw Sterling early in the first half, had some success, nutmegging defenders. Coutinho didn't get to run at Chelsea's fullbacks at all really, today, aside from, I think, he got to run at Azpilicueta in the first half. Second half, put him on his feet, had him on skates. Great. But Liverpool didn't really create enough down on the wings and winning those one-on-one battles, which is another bad area that Liverpool really suffered in today. What do you think of the second goal by Eto'o?
Do you really need to get me started on this? I think that the problem with it is that you have nobody pressing on the wing. You have nobody closing down.
That goal was a long time coming, wasn't it?
It was a long time coming.
Yep.
And Skrtel backs off him. Clearly Skrtel's a bit afraid to commit fouls lately.
Yeah.
And he is backing off. He's giving Eto'o the space. And Eto'o just comes in.
Just kind of ran right in front of him.
It's a poacher's goal.
Yeah,
he gets the chance. And Mignolet gets a hand on it. And everybody's just going to say, oh, Mignolet should have saved it. It was a weak shot. It's from 2 feet away.
Yeah, I mean, Eto'o should be finishing that chance. I mean, that's a goal that, when the striker takes it, you expect it to go in no matter what the goalkeeper can do, right?
It's 2 feet away. To his right-hand side. Low. What's he supposed to do?
Going into the second half, I did think Liverpool did perform better, but at that point, Chelsea kind of parked the bus. Lampard came off for Mikel, and that was basically Mourinho wrapping it up tactically, wasn't it?
I said right after the second goal, we need a goal in the next 10 minutes, or else Mourinho is going to stay back and is going to park up.
Yeah, he just sucked the life out of that game.
I knew it when it happened, because I immediately realized he's going to play players behind the ball. He's going to limit our chances, and he's going to take a 2-1 here against Liverpool because he knows what we can do if we have an open pitch.
And Liverpool, I mean, I think they did play better, but a lot of that was Chelsea just basically backing off and letting Liverpool have the majority of the ball,
And the problem with that is, and then you have the Brad Smith substitution.
Yeah, let's talk about the Brad Smith substitution, because, what is he, 16 years old? How old is this kid?
He's 19.
Yeah, making his Premiership debut against Chelsea. So Rodgers doesn't, if Kelly's fit, he doesn't trust Kelly against Chelsea, but he brings on Brad Smith in what eventually became a 4-2-3-1. He put Smith on the left wing, and I don't know if Brad Smith had a single productive touch of the ball at all. He really just didn't seem like he knew what he was doing.
He had a few decent passes. The problem is, when you play him in this spot, you're telling the kid, go for it.
Yeah.
You know what? Go for it. No big deal. Here in baseball, we used to have that quite a bit, where a manager would throw a player into a situation, into the most difficult situation possible.
I mean, we've seen Rodgers do this with Sterling, Suso, all these young players, throwing into the wolves, seeing how they do, really blooding them. But
basically taking the pressure off them in the long term.
Yeah.
But the problem is, when you throw him into a situation like this, where we really needed a point coming off of that City loss, where we really needed a bit of momentum, it's a bit of a difficult situation, and it hurts now. Maybe it'll feel better in the long term.
But the kid is only, he's 19. It's his first time out there. We had Premier League experience on that bench. Maybe you're probably short of it, But Aspas and Alberto, especially Alberto, I think he would have been a better choice over Brad Smith.
I think that
Brad Smith, just for me, in terms of tactical know-how and his football and brain right now, he's not there yet, and he didn't belong on the pitch against Chelsea.
I think that you throw him on because you want him to get that experience. Clearly, they see
but it's just Liverpool needed to win a point here, and that was the best way.
I'm not all that upset, but it is certainly a talking point, and it's certainly something that cost us a point.
To me, it just shows how thin Liverpool squad is right now. I do think that Sturridge is out right now. Suarez could have really used Sturridge to run off of today with create more movement. But Victor Moses was ineligible to play today. And once you have those two guys down, you have Sterling on the pitch now starting. The options on the bench weren't looking very sexy. Iago Aspas, I'm not really sweating to bring him on at all. So I do think that's an area that Liverpool need to address in January. It would be nice if Juan Mata could get dropped off at the Liverpool team bus on the way back up north. And I guess wrapping up here, I did want to talk about Howard Webb, and I feel like it was similar to last game against City, where the game didn't really flow at all because there were so many fouls. Every Chelsea player, as soon as they were touched, they went down. Gary Cahill basically killed Suarez all match. Suarez was mugged. I think we can agree upon that, right?
Yeah.
His reputation for diving is preceding him here. He's just not getting any calls at all.
Yeah, you know my stance on Webb. The problem with Howard Webb is that he has all these big games, and he has a bit of a conundrum, especially when it comes to Liverpool. He doesn't want to be seen giving Liverpool calls. He doesn't want to be seen...
Or really just giving anybody calls.
He doesn't want to be seen giving anybody calls.
Think
of the matches he gets. Think of the matches he gets. He gets Liverpool United. He gets Liverpool Chelsea.
Yeah.
He gets Arsenal United. He gets every single big game you can think of. And the problem with that is when you get those games, you don't want to call fouls. You don't want to hand out red cards. You don't want to change the game. And because of that, you're incredibly conservative, especially as the game goes on. And the problem is when you have these big moments, you have a ref that is basically conditioned and has learned to basically swallow the whistle.
But it's not only Howard Webb, and specifically talking about Luis Suarez, because I feel like Premiership refs are just letting Suarez get killed out here. He's getting no protection. It's not as bad as it was last season, but Suarez is getting hacked, and just nothing is getting called against this guy. He does pick up his fair share of fouls. He gets his calls, but the big decisions, he's not getting them.
I think there's just a number of problems with it, but I really don't have an issue with it. I think that he will get better. He will adjust.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of time.
Let's
roll on the rest of the year.
So I guess wrapping up, we stand in 5th place right now. We have Hull City on New Year's. I do expect basically a full team switch, as much changeover as we can against Hull, just because these players
to be a flat track bully.
Yeah, these players they've had a rough December. A lot of fixtures, a lot of congestion. They need the rest. Still, stay the course. We've been saying this for a while. Games against the top 6 are basically a crapshoot. So let's play the minnows, worry about top 6 opponents later. Still on track. I still like what we see with Liverpool. That signs the guys in January. Greg, thank you for stopping by again, and I will see you guys on New Year's Day.